All right, welcome to City Rocks Live, previewing session 4. We've made it pretty far so far in the season. Coach Hart, how are you doing today?
Doing great. Had the boys in for a mini camp the last 3-4 days. We did a variety of things, mostly basketball related, but got in some financial literacy,
Yeah.
some NIL training, threw a little hands in the boxing ring, a little cookout. So kids, bonded together and, got 3-4 full practices. We'll get another one tomorrow when we land in Augusta.
Nice. And you had a scrimmage against some of your former guys in the league. And
Yeah. We had Chicago Bulls starter Kevin Herter invited us up to play an eye opener for us and normally that game might take 5-10 minutes, and about 90 seconds in it was 12-0 on 4 deep threes. So they beat us pretty good. Then we cut it down, and then we ended up winning 2 of the last 3 games. So we almost pulled out maybe a 4-4 slate against them. So it ended well for our guys. They stepped up.
awesome. Yeah, these guys are ready to go. We're going to recap session 3. We could roll the tape on the first game of the session from Team Why Not. This is a tough game. These guys really shot the ball well. Let's see if we can get this running here. But yeah, talk a little bit about
I mean, it was just kind of like our thing we're trying to clean up is the defense. Our offensive end's been pretty good, but teams have shot a pretty high field goal percentage against us. And Why Not is extremely skilled in scouting them. I probably didn't think it would go like that, but it was just one of those games. First game on the road out there. We hadn't practiced in a long time. Our guys are geographically challenged where they're spread out in prep schools, and we don't really have the ability to get them together until things like this. So we just off getting inside and well in the stakes, the $10,000 tournament, hit some big shots. MJ had 2 big games in session 3, so that was good. He's coming off an injury, so seeing MJ step up, 11 points in this game, 3 rebounds. He gets the foul line a lot, 10 free throw attempts in 18 minutes, so his free throw rate's great. Now we just got to make more of them, and that'll be good for us. In payday, 6 steals.
All right, let's go to the Brad Beal, and I want to talk a little bit about the stakes game, but let's see if we could roll the Brad Beal highlights. Another, you guys played a really tough schedule here in the session 3, and outside of a few runs from some teams, you guys are right there.
I've thought watching the teams in our division, Bradley Beal is the most complete team top to bottom. Super physical, good bigs, top 10 player, tough point guard play. They execute, they're well coached. And I believe we're ahead 3 going into the 4th quarter. Here we go. We're getting a little ball reversal, getting in the Bray. Nice finish. So to be ahead of them going into the 4th, and then we had coming out of, obviously after timeout where we've made a call, I think we turned it over 2 straight times to start the 4th quarter. So that was tough. So here goes MJ getting back inside. Good kick out. Those inside out kickouts usually end up well. Here's Peyton. They just got the big man stepping back, and he hit it.
Nice when the guards are knocking down shots, and shot making comes down to wins and losses in a lot of these games.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Like, the more you look at EYBL teams, the parity's incredible. Everyone's got bigs, everyone's got shooters, everyone's got athletes, and good point guard play. So it's going to come down to who's executing, who's making free throws, and who's hitting their threes. And playing out here in the Midwest against probably the two top teams in the league, Bradley Beal and Mocan, they've had the ability to practice. And honestly, they just ran stuff cleaner than we did. They looked like they were better coached teams because they were able to execute.
Look at the box score here. Peyton Miller really had a nice game here.
9 for 9 from the free throw line. Lucas and Payday doing what they always do. Amari with 11. And 10 assists to 11 turnovers. That's a little disappointing because we've actually straightened out to where, and Jayshawn Andrew, the lefty there, he had 25 and 6 and 4, and he beat us left a lot. Trey Pearson was very good. But our assist to turnover ratio on the season, we're 15 to 10. It might be one of the best in the whole league. So the last 3 sessions, we've taken care of the ball really well. 11 turnovers a little low. I'd like to see more assists.
Got it. All right, let's go to let's first talk about, before we get into the Rebel highlight, just where you got with the off season between the last session, which was I think back in May, right? It's been a little bit of time, but you guys took home a stakes championship, and the guys got some money out of it, which is awesome.
Yeah, so now where we didn't have the advantage of practicing and really being together, I think a lot of teams break up for the whole month of June, go back and play with their high school teams. Here in the Northeast, we start to do that now, but it's kind of the last 2 weeks or the middle 2 weeks. So we had an opportunity to get involved in probably one of the first ever NIL tournaments, $10,000 prize to win it, which, is pretty nice.
Yeah.
Comes in handy this time of year. But I made a promise to the guys before the tournament starts, I hope this is legal, that if we win, they would get $500 each of that NIL money. And they had to do a few shout outs for it, through the tournament sponsors. But it was a great thing. We had a couple blowouts early, got together. The championship game, we were down 22-4 to a hot shooting team. And then maybe even later, it was still like 32-14. And we chipped away, walked them down, and got a huge win. Amari Wooten. After Dom and Luca came in and hit all the threes to give us the lead, and they were basically playing most of the late third and fourth. Amari had sat a long time. There was about 28 seconds left. We needed a bucket. I said, let's go with our 5 best. We put Amari back in and he hit the game winner. Huge shot. And great feeling because, the EYBL is strange because, you're only playing for one title. Yeah. So some kids forget what that feeling's like to win it all, hoist the trophy, take the pictures afterwards. So felt really good to watch the kids with big smiles on their face, taking those pictures, knowing they were getting that money. So it was just a beautiful, beautiful day for them.
Yeah, good for the boys.
Good momentum, yeah.
Talk about some momentum. You guys dropped the first 2 in Kansas City, and you got a good win against the Rebels here. Wow, that was
nice finish by Parrish. I mean, bounce back games, it's how do you respond if you've lost your first 2 to good teams? And the EYBL, no time for sulking. You can't hang your head. It's next play, it's next game. Here's another good ball reversal, got inside. I think this game, Bray was really big. And I think he had a great game. Here's another one. I think we're going to see Amari catch a little 3 here. Get a little hand back to Lucas, a dribble handoff, a little DHO, pin down. Here comes our boy, corner, whop.
Wow, nice.
So, good execution there. And the Rebels, I mean, they're so good and so athletic. I mean, there's Parrish's dunk, but, they have a couple different lob plays.
Yeah.
And, top 10 players, and they caught us on the very lob play. We scouted 4 different times.
Yeah.
They ran it, and they probably connected on it 2 or 3. So, great athletic team finishing above the rim. Good measuring stick for Peachy. I mean, if you can log these memories in, hey, we beat the Florida Rebels, we beat this team. It's just shows you can play with anybody. And there's a lot of parity in the league this year. Everybody out there listening, this Peach Jam is as wide open as you can get. Of the 32 teams, I would say maybe 26 or 28 are still in contention to make the Peach. And once you get there, any of those 24 can knock off whoever is, quote, supposedly the best.
Yeah, Bray got to the line 15 times. Wow.
Oh, there you go.
17. Lucas stuffed the
Ooh,
stat
11,
sheet
12,
there.
and 7, near triple double.
You guys had some good contributions. Mention Lucas. He's out. Is he playing?
Yeah, what's that? Team 5%?
Oh no, that might be a typo.
No, maybe we're 1 for 20 from 3.
No, I think that might have been from the last.
Hopefully
game.
it says 50%.
So yeah, no, you're 7 for 25.
Okay,
7 for 25.
Yeah.
That's a mistake.
And they were 5 for 21. Yeah. So what were your?
I was gonna say Lucas had a nice break too. He's playing for the Dominican national team.
Yeah, so he got to go to Switzerland. Took him out of the country for like 25 days, a couple prep games, some practices. Went over there and did what he does with us. Stuffed the stat sheet. I think his first 2 games he had 20+ points, got double figures in rebounding. A lot of colleges went over there to scout, and there's some NBA people there. So he helped his cause, and really we had a month of June where all these guys got over their high school teams, and there were some great individual accomplishments. Makai, Peyton, Luca, Dom, Parrish, Payday, they all had MJ, Bray, they all really had good months of June individually. So I think, they're kind of all in a good position, mentally, knowing that their college is probably, somewhat settled, and now they just can play for the name on the front, right?
You mentioned Makai. Makai wasn't here this session. So
USA basketball,
he is with USA. And this is a tough game here in the morning against basically the home team, Mocan, who's been red hot.
Yeah, Mocan just, their ability to execute over the last 15 years, they have a system. Their guys usually play up throughout. They practice a ton. They've got their own facility. So if you switch up defenses, usually to confuse people, you throw a 1-3-1 on them, it's an immediate call. Everyone's in the right spot. They execute, they get a seal, and then a wide open layup. There's a nice finish by MJ. You go 3-2, 2-1-2. They've got kind of an answer for everything because they're very well prepared. And then we opened up pretty good on them, and then they had a big second quarter. And if you look at it, their second quarter was basically everything they had came from the free throw line.
Yep.
So I think we were up like 14-8. Their next 10 points came from fouls. So maybe we had to, help a little bit, and then they got, and they have 2 bigs. They got a 7-1 and a 6'10 that are just monsters. And Chitty had a good game for them shooting-wise, and he hadn't shot well. He hit 2 threes. That helped him. Tristan Reed's a monster, and Ethan Taylor, those are the 2 bigs. You could see so their big men ended up with 24 and 16. So pretty good stuff.
Yeah, both teams shot 3 of 17, so it kind of came down.
Wasn't the 3 ball.
Yeah, it wasn't the 3 ball there. You mentioned playing a tough schedule here. Let's take a look at the standings.
And we had beaten Mocan the last 2 times, so we were our last 2 was 2-0 against them. They wanted it, and they gave it to us a little bit there. So in the standings, I predicted early on this show that I thought Brad Beal was the best team in our division, and now they're the only team at 9-2. The only team with a really, Brad Beal and Mocan have a plus-minus of over 90. Everyone else, you see if Team Thad's in second place with plus 46 in 11 games, that means they're winning by an average of 4 points. Pretty crazy how close these games are. And if you look across, here's the Team Mello is, +2. So, it's just a matter of, I would say that anybody with 3 wins, 1 through 14, 3 wins could go 4-0 and get to 7 and 8, and they're in. And like the 3 teams at 8 and 3 could go 0-4 and be basically tied with those. So obviously that's not how it's going to play out, but there's some opportunity for movement for everyone.
So the Peach Jam, the top 10 from each automatically make it, and there's some variance there with the
top 10 will make it automatically. The next 2 is team choice. So or EYBL choice, and then the last 2 will be in a play-in.
Excellent. So do you look at the other side of the standings here? Who stands out to you?
Well, that 10-1 is a big time record. So I don't care who what it is. I don't focus as much on the other side of the division until Peach Jam, but the Wrens and Takeover have done it on both ends, especially defensively. They've been unbelievable. As you see, they have that plus 100 that Brad Beal has. Only 3 teams with a plus 100. So, they're winning by double digits. They're just super tough. Oakland Soldiers, Jason Crow is the best scorer there. And then Utah and PSA have been really tough. PSA was switching defenses in Utah as well. Very good defensive teams.
All right, so let's roll the clips for our upcoming games. We start off with the Knight Riders Thursday at 2 o'clock Eastern. We see some clips here of Caleb Gaskins, who's number 15 in the top 100. He's going to be,
elite mid-range freak athlete, lefty. They play through him a lot. They run great actions. Remember, this team that won Peach Jam last year, they won 3 years in a row. Well coached, good executing team. Run a lot of NBA actions. Here you see Gaskins getting off the dribble, a little step back, and got a little bit of a lucky roll on that. I think the Rebels did win that game. So, the two Florida teams battled it out. So I don't know if that's any indication we beat Rebels, but this is going to be a tough one for us, just like they all are. But it's first game. We're going to have a chance to prepare for them and scout for them, so we'll be ready.
So you guys have the full roster ready to go for.
We'll have all 10 ready to go. And remember, teams can add. That's never been the mantra of the City Rocks. We don't really, we're going to rock with the guys that showed up to start. If we're going to move one up, it'd be something internal, someone from our 16s. But, the same roster we started the year with, it's the same roster we're rolling with.
All right, now let's look at the next matchup here, the New York Lightning, who've had a tough start to the season, but we see Torrey Brooks Jr. here, tough guard from Jersey, getting to the rim
the guard play of Lightning's elite, and then they're going to do a ton of pick and roll, and they hit the rollers, and their bigs are athletic and get involved, and again, a similar like NBA style offense. What they do differently is they're going to press the entire game. They're going to go 1-2, 1-2-1-1, 2-1-2. They're going to pick you up full. They're trying to speed you up and take you out of rhythm. And I'm sure facing us, they really think of us as an executing team. They're going to try and make us play fast and take us out of our stuff. So there's going to be a battle of tempos and wills. And then whenever you have a team that starts the year 0-6, people think they're trash or whatever. You look at it, they lost to Thad by 2 or 3. They lost to, I think, Mocam by 4 or 5 or one of those games. So they were losing by 4 points a game. And then they went 3-1 last session.
Yeah.
So how many teams went 3-1 in session 3? And that's the latest version. They've also had Troy Faison, I believe, has been out most of the season. He's back, or probably back. He's healthy. So they could be bringing back another elite guard to the mix. So,
yeah, gotta get it done. There's so
they need it. We need it.
Teams need it. Battling out for the Peach Jam here. So we're gonna go to Pro Skills here, featuring Bryson Howard, 6'5" lefty, who's went from unranked to start the season to now 60 in the top 100. He's been really balling.
20 ball every game almost. He really shoots it. They got the little point guard that you see on the closeout. He may be I don't know if he's the TJ McConnell or the Jalen Brunson of the league. He plays off 2. He's crafty as hell. I think he's 90-some-odd% from the free throw line. Bryson's like 87. The team shoots the highest free throw rate in the league. They shoot well from 3. So really good guard play. They take good shots and they make shots. So their offensive numbers are big time. So you better be ready to guard. That's going to be a great one for us because teams have shot a good percentage against us, and these guys are a high percentage shooting team. So we're going to disrupt and do some things different and look for some different outcomes. Here they're putting it on Team United by 20. Yeah. And then even thinking of Pro Skills, I believe they might have started 0-4, and now they're 6. So they're 6-2 over the last 8 games. So they're one of the hottest teams in the league.
And you mentioned defense being a focus sort of in practice.
Yep.
How's that been going?
Yeah, it's funny how when you have 10 good defenders, that doesn't necessarily matter unless you're all on the same page. And you have guys from different high schools. Some teams might have been playing in the passing lane. Some of them might have been playing in help. Some people blitz ball screen. Some people go under. So you're taking 10 guys from 10 different high school coaches. They've been repped one thing. So to get them on our page and camera beware, we the last 5 years, we've been a top 5 defensive team every single year. You can, check the stats, giving up the fewest points. So this year we're not. And I don't see why, if we can buy into the principles, we can be there. And I think these guys are ready to do that.
Awesome. Let's roll the tape on the last game, Sunday, July 13th against Team Thad, who's, you guys have had some success. You guys have
Hurt is
traded
my
well.
boy. Yeah.
Coach Hurt. Shout out to Coach Hurt and Team Thad.
So we love Coach Hurt, one of the most passionate guys in the league. And, the first two teams they played, 2 times we played them, they were just straight bunting. He was like yelling at me, "This is big boy basketball now." I was like, oh, shit, here comes Hurt with the big boy basketball. And he's talking that talk, pacing the sidelines. And they put a hurting on us 2 times in a row. And then we got them really bad when they were 10-1. I think we might have 30-balled them. Demarius and Kayvon had 6 threes each, so it was just lights out. Yeah. And then last year we got them too. So they beat us twice good. We beat them twice. This year they've had a much better start than we have. They're one of those teams plus 90. Terrace, Bowie, I believe they have 4 guys in the top 100. So wow. Elite talent team. Their recruiting game is elite. Their finishing game is elite. Their passion. We're catching them the last game of the year. They're already qualified, but that means they're just going to play looser and hungrier. They look to win everything. There's no days off for Team Thad.
Yeah,
Memphis boys, they rolled different.
Yeah, they're tough. So we're tough as well. What are you saying to the group? We got an early flight tomorrow. Getting ready to get to Augusta and hopefully stay there a while. What are you telling the guys?
Here's what you say, fellas. You only get to do this once. Like if you played up as a sophomore, you might get 2 peach jams, but you usually get 1 17U peach jam. It's a memory you will have the rest of your life. The coaches talk about just the whole atmosphere down there. Why is it so different? It's single gyms. It's a beautiful thing where you have 8 separate gyms, not one of these open court facilities, so it feels like a high school game. Small amount of bleachers, every game is packed. You've got to wait in line to get in. People in the rafters above, every college coach. The atmosphere is just off the chart. The players there are treated elite. It's everywhere else you're parking anywhere. Here the players, you get valeted in, valet parking. You enter underneath, you pop up into the gym. You've got, whether it's, Nate Oates and Calipari parking in a yard a mile away, walking through the heat. The City Rocks are going to roll in and get their valet parking. Free food underneath. Shout out to the people from the church down there that take great care of us. Jeremy at the Riverview Event Center. I can't say enough, people, there's places you love your high school, you love your college. People love the people in Augusta, Georgia. The hospitality's off the chain, and we can't wait to get there.
It's our Masters, right? It's the best. Yeah.
If you're not up for the Peach Jam, you're not up for anything.
Yeah. So we won't get a chance to preview the Peach Jam, but good luck to you guys down there for Session 4. Hopefully, you guys catch some wins and roll into the Peach Jam on a high note. So, Coach Hart, appreciate the time. Good luck out there, sir.
We're bringing it.